Hello everyone, welcome back to a brand new discussion video on the channel today, and today, I know I'm late on this, I know everyone's been talking about it, everyone's been reacting to it, and if you don't know what I'm talking about the new Five Nights at Freddy's movie. I was meaning to do a trailer reaction to it, but it was literally 45 seconds, so I didn't really see a point, but I still actually wanted to talk about it because this trailer's been getting a lot of people really happy, really excited, and it's causing a lot of buzz amongst the internet, and the reactions are somewhat positive. So I did want to share my thoughts on this trailer and what I think of the movie, but also just some of the worries I have for this movie, because I do have a couple worries which I'm going to explain in this video, but I do want to say first and foremost, I am actually really excited for this movie. I actually don't think it looks bad, really. There are some things that could use some work, but it could be a lot worse. But I guess I'll just start off with a little bit of context, because I was one of those kids back in the day, in the grand year of 2014 that feels like an eternity ago. I remember when this game got first released. I was in elementary school. All my friends were playing it. Every single one. It was the big thing at my school. Everyone knew about it. Everyone was making memes about it. Everyone was playing it, watching people play it. It was insane. So keeping that in mind, I did have a certain amount of nostalgia for this movie when it got announced. This got announced 7 years ago. Does it make you feel old? It makes me feel old. God damn it. I'm sad. But continuing on with that, I did have a certain amount of anticipation for this movie. I had certain things that I wanted to be in this movie. I wanted it to be accurate to the source material, but I also wanted it to just be scary and have that similar atmosphere as of what it is in the game. And I understand that this is a 45-second teaser trailer. It is not a lot of footage. They show bare minimum. But it was pretty good, I won't lie. They definitely did a lot of things right, and I want to talk about some of the positive things that I really liked about this trailer first, before I actually go into my big worries, which I actually think that's going to be the main meat of this video, because I have a lot to talk about. The first really positive thing I actually want to say is about the animatronics themselves. They went practical, like to the max. They made real animatronics for this movie that, might I add, just look fantastic. They look one for how they're supposed to look in the game. They look fantastic, even though you don't see them a whole lot. They look great. They look real. And a lot of people have been complaining that they look cheap, and that's because they probably didn't have any CGI over them. They're just animatronics, which I don't understand. You always complain about too much CGI, and then as soon as there's no CGI, you're like, that looks a little weird. What were you expecting? Like, come on, man. And obviously these animatronics are going to have some limited movements if they're not going to go the CGI route, which I kind of hope they don't, just so it gives it a little bit more of like a realistic feel, but you never know. But I really like these animatronics. They look fantastic. When I saw the poster, I was very impressed, and in the trailer, from what they show, I was very impressed. They looked really, really good, honestly. And I also really love the vibe and the setting for this movie. They captured the game perfectly, I feel. Like, the setting of the pizzeria and just all the little visual details are fantastic. They reminded me so much of the game, and my favorite part 100% was the security room, which in the game is where the player is playing the game. You're looking through the security cameras, and they literally go as far to make the exact same shot that you see in the security cam in the movie for the actual security cam. It's that little attention to detail that I think is really just going to push these adaptations going forward, because you can just tell that they care, and I really love those little details. But with all this positive, I still do have some negatives. A big thing people have been talking about, and I don't want to just say it because everyone else has been saying it, and it's such a controversial thing with all the fans, and that is the animatronics' red eyes. Listen, I have more than just a surface level reason why I don't like this, and I actually think that having these red eyes is going to hurt the movie. And I'm not saying that from a big point of view, like, oh, it's going to completely ruin it, the narrative's going to be off. No, 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 no. It's just going to ruin certain sequences. Because, one, this is super cliche. When the bad robot, the evil robot, has the red eyes and he's about to kill someone or hurt someone. They did it with Chucky in the remake. It was awful. It didn't work. It's such a cliche for the evil character to have the red eyes, when in reality, you really don't need that. I felt like there could have been some really cool visuals that they could have done to make these animatronics scary, rather than giving them red eyes. Like in the game, when you give them sort of like the glare with the little white pupil and the black eyes, I felt that would have been way more effective. And I've seen many videos over the course of the week that's had that. That's shown the mock-up of what that would look like instead of the red eyes, and it looks leaps and bounds better. I think this is actually going to hurt the horror in this movie a lot, because with Five Nights at Freddy's, I always found the games were very unexpected. There was jump scares, there was all this just really sudden stuff, and I feel like in this sort of setting, in a movie setting, that could be really good for jump scares and be good for really suspenseful moments where you don't really know what they're doing and then they out of nowhere just like turn their head or do something crazy. But taking away the red eyes, I really do have one really big worry with this movie, and it doesn't even have to do with the movie itself. It's the people behind the scenes marketing the movie. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, I'll explain it. I'm going to try and explain it the best I can to explain this worry, but this movie is coming out in October, but it is coming out to theaters and streaming the same day. Now, some people might think, oh, that's great, I can just watch it at home. Yes, as much as that is good for some people, it is going to hurt the movie, and I'm going to explain why. This style of releasing a film isn't anything new. They used to do it when the dreaded, virus was going around and everyone couldn't leave their houses and everyone was stuck indoors. So the companies felt it right that they could be able to do this. They could put movies onto their streaming sites and then have it in theaters for some places, because in reality during that time not everyone had access to theaters, which is pretty obvious. So logistically it made sense why they would put it on a streaming site, because why would you make someone feel almost alienated in a way and cut off from this sort of media and then force them to go online and look for it for free? Why not give them that option to watch it on a streaming site? So in that context, it made a lot of sense because they had no other option. So you might as well. But now in this era where those times have kind of passed, and there are places that still are being affected by it, but not directly affected. Like, not everyone's being affected by it. I'm certainly not. I can go do whatever I want outside. There's really no need for it anymore. And what comes with this, I think, is a clear doubt of confidence that this movie is going to be good or make enough money. I think this movie will make a lot of money. I do think so. But the thing is, when a studio puts something on streaming, they're trying to boost their subscriptions, especially if it's something big like this movie, where you have a very clear fan base in mind that are going to go to the streaming site to watch it, or they'll go to the theaters. So they're trying to branch out this property as much as possible so it can get the most views, it can get the most traction, everyone will be talking about it. But with that, you also take away from the movie itself from a little thing called piracy. Because as soon as you put that movie on that streaming site, it is immediately going to get pirated. People are going to record it, they're going to be posting clips on TikTok and YouTube, they're going to be putting it all over the place. Everyone's going to have seen the movie for absolutely free, because as much as it sucks, people still go to things like 123movies.com or Redbox to completely watch movies for free, and that takes away from a lot of the cash from the actual studio. And I'm not trying to go say, oh, studios are like the messiah or anything. That's not the truth. But the thing is, it hurts the film in general, because then it shows them that no one cares. And it's going to make less money, and that's going to get less traction, and the studio's going to look at it less. If they put it just in theaters, it would show that they're confident with the product they made. And not to mention, when you put something on streaming usually these days, it doesn't typically mean it's good. There are exceptions, don't get me wrong. There are some movies that come out that are made for streaming that are amazing, but for the most of the time, when a movie is released in theaters and streaming the same day, it usually doesn't end that well. The movies are pretty mixed. They're mixed. There are some good ones. But you know what also got released in theaters and streaming on the same day? Halloween Ends. And we already know I loved that movie. Spoiler alert, I didn't like it. And that's where my worries lie. It makes me feel like they're not confident that this movie is good, so it's not going to make the money, so they're like, oh, just throw it on streaming, because then people will watch it, and if people want to go to the theaters, okay. It's worrying me, because if they had the confidence, they would have just put it in theaters, and they would have made money back, and it would have been great, and everyone would have enjoyed it, but now it's gone to streaming, which worries me that the movie just really isn't that great, and that's what scares me, because this movie has taken 7 years to make. It's been a while. So I would really hope that this movie would be at least somewhat average or decent at best, but that is just not giving me a lot of hope. But with all that said, I hope you enjoyed the video. Please like and subscribe down below for more content on the channel coming pretty damn soon. I'm going to try getting back into the flow of it. I've been kind of slacking lately, I won't lie. Hopefully I'll be bringing more content to you guys pretty regularly, but I hope you have a great day. See ya.